There are certain behaviors that instantly tell everyone around you that you are not the man you claim to be. You can have the expensive watch, the tailored suit, the impressive job title, and the confident handshake. But if you do any of the 7 things I am about to describe, none of that matters. People see through it. Not consciously. They cannot articulate what feels off. But their gut tells them this man is not what he appears to be. High-value men are not defined by what they have. They are defined by what they refuse to do. The behaviors they have eliminated from their lives create a vacuum that naturally fills with respect, trust, and authority. These are 7 things that truly high-value men never do. And if you are doing even one of them, it is costing you more than you realize. Number 1. They never seek validation from others. A high-value man does not need the room to confirm that he is impressive. He does not drop hints about his income. He does not steer conversations toward his accomplishments. He does not name-drop, humble brag, or fish for compliments. And he definitely does not change his opinion the moment he senses the group disagrees with him. Validation seeking is the single most visible marker of insecurity, and it is visible to everyone except the person doing it. When you ask someone what they think of your new car before they have commented on it, you are seeking validation. When you post an accomplishment on social media and check the likes every 10 minutes, you are seeking validation. When you change your stance in a conversation because the room pushed back and you felt the discomfort of being the only one, you are seeking validation. Research from the University of Michigan on self-determination theory shows that individuals who derive their sense of worth from external sources experience higher levels of anxiety, lower emotional stability, and less resilience under pressure than those whose self-worth is internally generated. The high-value man has done the internal work. He knows what he is worth because he has tested himself against challenges that most people avoid. He does not need your approval because he has already approved of himself through evidence, through effort, and through standards he holds himself to when nobody is watching. The shift begins when you start catching yourself in the act. Every time you feel the urge to mention an achievement, to check a reaction, or to soften your opinion for approval, pause. Ask yourself, am I saying this because it adds value to this conversation, or because I need someone to tell me I am impressive? That awareness alone will change your behavior within weeks. Number 2. They never gossip. Gossip feels harmless in the moment. It creates a temporary bond between the people participating, a shared secret, a mutual judgment, a feeling of being on the inside. But high-value men understand something that most people miss. Gossip reveals more about the person speaking than about the person being discussed. When you talk negatively about someone who is not in the room, every person listening makes a subconscious calculation. If he talks about them like this behind their back, what does he say about me when I am not here? That single thought destroys trust. And trust is the foundation of every meaningful relationship, professional and personal. Research from the University of Groningen on reputational gossip found that while people are drawn to hearing gossip, they consistently rate the person spreading it as less trustworthy and less likable than the person being discussed. The gossiper thinks they are building an alliance. They are actually building a reputation for being unsafe. High-value men understand that their words are an investment. Every sentence either builds or erodes their reputation. Speaking well of others when they are not present or saying nothing at all is one of the most powerful reputation-building strategies available. When someone tries to draw you into gossip, the high-value response is simple. I do not really know enough about their situation to comment. Or, that is between them and whoever it involves. You do not need to moralize or lecture. You just decline to participate. And the people who witness that restraint will trust you more deeply than they trust anyone who is willing to play the game. Number 3. They never make excuses. When something goes wrong, the average man's first instinct is to explain why it was not his fault. The traffic was bad. The client changed the requirements. The team dropped the ball. The timing was off. The economy is tough. Every excuse is a small surrender of personal agency. It says that external circumstances control my outcomes, and I am powerless against them. A high-value man operates from a fundamentally different framework. When something fails, his first question is, what could I have done differently? Not because he is responsible for everything, but because that question is the only one that gives him power. Blaming traffic does not help you arrive on time tomorrow. Analyzing why you did not leave earlier does. Research on locus of control, originally developed by psychologist Julian Rotter, shows that individuals with an internal locus of control, those who believe their outcomes are determined primarily by their own actions, achieve significantly more in their careers, maintain healthier relationships, and demonstrate greater psychological resilience than those with an external locus of control. Every excuse you make trains your brain to see yourself as a victim of circumstance. Every time you take ownership, even when external factors were genuinely involved, you train your brain to see yourself as someone who can influence outcomes. The high-value man who is late says, I should have planned for traffic. The high-value man whose project fails says, here is what I will do differently next time. The high-value man who loses a client says, I did not deliver enough value. Not because these statements are always perfectly accurate, but because they keep power in his hands. And power, not victimhood, is what gets results. Number 4. They never lose control of their emotions in public. This does not mean high-value men do not feel deeply. It means they have developed the capacity to experience intense emotion without letting that emotion dictate their behavior. There is a critical difference between feeling angry and acting angry, between feeling hurt and lashing out, between feeling frustrated and making a scene. The man who yells at a waiter, who loses his temper in a meeting, who sends a furious email at midnight, who punches a wall when things do not go his way is not expressing strength. He is revealing that his emotions control him rather than the other way around. Neuroscience research from the University of Wisconsin on emotional regulation shows that the prefrontal cortex, the part of the brain responsible for impulse control and long-term planning, can be strengthened through deliberate practice, much like a muscle. Men who cultivate emotional regulation are not suppressing their feelings. They are processing those feelings through a more sophisticated neural architecture that allows them to choose their response rather than react automatically. Every great leader in history has demonstrated this capacity. Under pressure, under attack, under genuine threat, the high-value man maintains composure. Not because the situation does not warrant a reaction, but because he understands that his response in high-pressure moments defines how others perceive his character. One emotional outburst can undo years of carefully built respect. The practice is to create space between stimulus and response. When you feel a strong emotion rising, pause. Take a breath. Identify what you are feeling and why. Then choose, from a place of clarity rather than impulse, how to respond. That pause, even if it is only 3 seconds, is the difference between a man who controls the room and a man who loses it. Number 5. They never neglect their physical health. A high-value man treats his body as a machine that needs to perform at the highest level for the longest possible time. He does not skip workouts when he is busy. He does not eat junk because it is convenient. He does not sacrifice sleep to binge content. He does not ignore warning signs from his body because he is too tough to go to a doctor. Physical health is not a compartment of life. It is the foundation of every other compartment. Your energy levels, your mental clarity, your stress tolerance, your confidence, your discipline, your emotional stability, all of these are directly influenced by how you treat your body. Research published in The Lancet found that regular physical exercise is more effective at reducing symptoms of depression and anxiety than medication for mild to moderate cases. Studies from Harvard Medical School have demonstrated that cardiovascular fitness directly correlates with cognitive function, memory, and executive decision-making ability. Your body is not separate from your mind. They are the same system, and neglecting one degrades the other. The high-value man does not exercise to look good, although that is a benefit. He exercises because he understands that physical discipline creates a cascade effect across every area of his life. The man who can push through the discomfort of a hard workout at 6 in the morning is the same man who can push through a difficult conversation at work, who can stay calm under financial pressure, who can maintain discipline when nobody is watching. Physical training is not a hobby for high-value men. It is a non-negotiable operating system that everything else runs on. Number 6. They never disrespect people who cannot benefit them. This is the character test that reveals everything, and high-value men pass it every single time. How you treat the waiter who brings your food, the janitor who cleans your building, the intern who has no power whatsoever, the customer service representative on the phone. These interactions are the truest measure of who you are because there is no strategic incentive to be kind. You gain nothing by treating these people well. That is exactly why it matters. Research from the Wharton School of Business found that leaders who treat subordinates and service workers with consistent respect are rated significantly higher on trustworthiness and leadership capability by their peers and superiors. The reason is that observers use these interactions as a proxy for character. The logic is simple and brutal. If he is only kind to people who can give him something, his kindness is not a value. It is a transaction. And transactional people cannot be trusted because their behavior is contingent on what they can extract from you. The high-value man treats every human being with the same baseline of respect, not because it is strategic, but because that is who he is. His character does not fluctuate based on the status of the person standing in front of him. And that consistency is one of the most respected qualities a man can possess, precisely because it is so uncommon. Number 7. They never stop learning. The moment a man decides he knows enough is the moment he begins his decline. High-value men maintain an aggressive, lifelong commitment to learning because they understand that the world is changing faster than any static knowledge base can keep up with. The skills that made you successful 5 years ago may be irrelevant in 5 more. The industry knowledge that gives you an edge today will be common knowledge tomorrow. The man who stops learning is not staying in place. He is falling behind while the world moves forward. Warren Buffett reads for 5 to 6 hours every day. Bill Gates reads 50 books per year. Elon Musk taught himself orbital mechanics through reading before he started a rocket company. These men are not successful because they are geniuses. They are successful because they never stopped being students. Research on neuroplasticity has demonstrated that the human brain can continue forming new neural connections throughout life, but only when it is consistently challenged with new information and experiences. Without that challenge, cognitive abilities decline, adaptability decreases, and the mind becomes rigid. The high-value man reads. He takes courses. He seeks mentors. He studies fields outside his expertise. He asks questions that reveal what he does not know rather than questions that showcase what he does. He approaches every conversation as an opportunity to learn something. And that intellectual humility combined with genuine curiosity makes him more interesting, more adaptable, and more capable with every passing year while the men around him grow stale. These 7 behaviors are not about perfection. No man gets all of this right all the time. The difference between a high-value man and everyone else is awareness and effort. He notices when he slips. He catches himself seeking validation, making an excuse, or losing his composure, and he corrects. Not because someone is watching, but because the standard he holds himself to is internal, and that internal standard is non-negotiable. If this video challenged you to look honestly at your own behavior and eliminate the things that are holding you back, subscribe to this channel because every video is built to help you become the strongest, most respected version of yourself. Drop a comment and tell me which one of these 7 hit the hardest. I read every single comment. Share this with a man who needs to hear it. That is how we raise the standard. I will see you in the next one.